he always was stressing that this was part of our tradition, you know, that Lord Jagannath in all his majesty would go out and take a chariot ride. And it made a very personal thing. Whenever Srila Prabhupada would talk about Krishna, it made it so much more personal. You know, we still didn't have the real personal feeling that standing before the Lord, we could see the Lord and sense that, you know, that feeling and that rapport with him. But Srila Prabhupada would make it personal, that Krishna is coming out. And I remember when Srila Prabhupada arrived at the temple for the day before the festival, he came to the temple and we were making the chariots right across the street in the lot. So Prabhupada went over to the lot. We're all, you know, it was still in disarray and everything. It was a small lot, but there was 3 chariots being built there. And Prabhupada paid his obeisances in front of the chariots. And he looked at me and he said, "The chariots are as good as the Lord." You know? And that made it all so much more personal. That here we are, we're building chariots for the Lord, but the chariots themselves were, you know, objects of worship. So it made it, you know, a real, it brought it the whole spectrum of Krishna consciousness was there in the Rath Yatra festival, the chariots, the garlands, the prasadam, the instruments, you know, everything, the clothes for the deities. We're all on that same worshipable, you know, level. Prabhupada always had this really, you know, close feeling with Jayananda, and Jayananda was he was the nuts and bolts man there in San Francisco. You may know that when he first became a devotee, he drove a taxi. Although he was an educated, you know, a man, he had his degree in engineering or something like that from the University of Ohio, but he somehow ended up in San Francisco, and he became a devotee, and he felt the responsibility of going out and driving a taxi and to provide money for the temple. And he was one of the few devotees in the beginning who actually held down a, you know, 9-to-5 job. So Jayananda always would take that personal feeling of, you know, if there was something wrong or something broken in the temple, specifically the cars. You could always find them underneath the cars, fixing the cars. And Srila Prabhupada knew this. You know, he knew that, you know, Jayananda was behind the scenes, making it all work. And later on, you know, he would make comments like Jayananda would walk in the room once when Prabhupada was lecturing, and he said, "Oh, the Goswami has arrived." And another occasion, he said, "Jayananda looks just like Lord Chaitanya. Big shoulders, you know, big, you know, man." And Jayananda almost blushed his way out of existence when Prabhupada would compliment him like that, because he was naturally so humble.